Got Coke, got water, beers behind the counter. Paper, pen. All right, we are live on YouTube. And on YouTube, if you're on the stream, if you happen to be following right now, it's going to be a 6 o'clock start. For those here in the room, the folks are currently seeing a slide right now, and they are going to see our video up in the corner there.
All right, just a quick check-in for everybody either in on the Zoom or that's live on YouTube right now. We will be starting here very briefly at 6 o'clock. Make sure if you have any questions or anything like that, you can leave those in the comments out on YouTube or in the chat section here on Zoom. We look forward to getting started here momentarily. Hello, everybody who's tuning in either here on Zoom or over on YouTube. We're just about to get started here. Sit tight for just a moment and we'll get everything all set up. We're just doing some behind the scenes technical setup here. So just a moment and we'll get started. All right, Ken, I think we're good to go if you'd like to get us started off here.
All right. Well, it's 6 o'clock Pacific time here. Coming to you over a YouTube live stream today. First time ever in our program. Welcome everyone to the 6th annual project showcase for our graduating seniors here at Green River College. Hold on, I've got one minor technical difficulty. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Quick agenda for today. We've got brief welcome introductions for you to set the context for those that may not be familiar with the capstone projects that we do here at Green River College. Tyler's going to speak briefly to that, and then we'll move straight into our feature event, the project presentations from our students here, soon to be graduates here in just about a week, actually. After the presentations, we're going to have a brief recognition of several students in the program and some closing words from our program faculty and staff. Next stop from here after this event is commencement. So our students will be graduating with a bachelor's degree next Tuesday, June 16th. So if you're interested in viewing the virtual commencement, you can find information about that at greenriver.edu/commencement. So again, welcome everyone. My name is Ken Hang, and I am one of the instructors here at Green River College. I teach software development here along with Tyler Schrock. And we are the capstone instructors for the 2020 capstone project here. So I'm gonna, let's see, hand it over to Tyler here, I believe.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. All right, so a little bit about these projects they're going to be presented here shortly. We have 8 teams that are going to be talking about their project that they've been working on. These students have been working on these projects for approximately 6 months. So starting about January 2nd, these teams connected with real clients from around the Western Washington area. So some startups, nonprofits, individuals, or even small organizations. You'll see a variety of folks represented in these projects. So these students were self-organizing in their teams. So they weren't merely writing code. They were planning, prioritizing, doing real problem solving. And it's quite impressive what they ended up with here at the end of these months. Of course, we at Green River were not immune to the coronavirus pandemic that came through. That came through about March 11th, and we switched from having our teams meet face-to-face to moving fully online for all communications and work that was done. So I want to definitely commend all the teams for the great work that they were able to do despite those hurdles there. And throughout these past 6 months, these teams have put in approximately 200 to 300 hours. I'm sure some teams have put in well over that, going the extra mile to complete their projects for their clients. So it's been rewarding to see their progress as they've gone along. But we're very excited today to hand it off to our teams so that they can share a little bit about what they've been up to and the items that they've been able to complete with their projects. So with that, we're going to go ahead and begin our presentations. Each team has a team name as well as kind of a project name. So I'll be introducing the teams by their team name. First up, we have the Golan Girls. So I will stop my screen share and allow them to take the lead here. They're going to be sharing about their project and what they've been up to for these past 6 months.
Hi, can you see the screen? Hello?
Yep, we can see you.
Okay, thank you. I can't see your... Hello, everyone. My name is Carmen, and I'm here with my team.
I'm Max.
And I'm Celine.
For the past 6 months, we have been working in the Gold Mine project with our client, Matt, an educator and case manager who has been working with youth at risk for the past 12 years. Matt is going to explain what this project will do for the special education community.
Hi, this is Matt Hurst. I'm a high school special education teacher from Chicago. I've worked in education for 12 years, and one of the biggest issues that I've seen is how data is collected for students' IEP goals and objectives. And so for the last few years, I've tried to think of a way that data could be collected quickly, accurately, and in the best interest of the students. I started putting things down on paper, and I was lucky enough to meet these guys, and this is where we're at now.
Thank you, Matt. We have divided this project into 3 different access levels for each user. Matt is going to start us off with the staff users.
For the staff and teachers view, the major features were for staff to be able to view their assigned students, create and access their goals and objectives, input data, and have that data averaged and charted. Here you can see the first wireframe for our project Matt made for us, a simple login page for all types of users. Next, you can see what the staff dashboard was imagined to look like, a page where a staff member can view all of their students. This short video shows how we realize these ideas into our website. As you can see, we can log in as a staff user and see our dashboard afterwards. This next wireframe is showing how the student's goals page will look. A goal is just that, a goal for the student to reach. It can be either long-term or short-term. A lot of data is displayed here with functionality to add new, pause, and archive goals. We made this a reality by creating a simple expanding page where goals are all displayed, and the functionality previously discussed is now in a hamburger menu. Here is the objective details page. An objective is a sub-goal inside a goal that helps set milestones for students. There is a lot going on in this page, inputting scores for objectives, averaging scores, graphing scores, adding notes, and showing evidence of progress. Here is how it looks now. Users can input data and see the graph change, add notes so that other users can know how the student is doing, and add evidence so that administrators and parents are reassured about the progress of their students. There is even a log so that users can see who input what scores.
The second account type for our application are the administrators. Administrators should be able to create, edit, archive each type of account. They also need to be able to view the caseloads of staff members and assign students to their teachers and parents. In the original wireframe, when an administrator logs in, we plan to have a simple dashboard that included a list of all staff members, with each name as a link to that person's caseload. In our final product, we include much more than just being able to see a list of staff members. Instead, administrators have access to each account type. Each page includes a table of all existing accounts, separated by active and inactive. Administrators can view this information, create new accounts, assign students, and much more. For caseloads, we plan for administrators to be able to expand each staff member to see their assigned students. When a staff member is expanded, their students are listed below. Staff members are marked in red to indicate a need for an update, and the student is marked in red as well. Administrators can also assign students using an autocomplete form for added efficiency. Edit information as needed in a pop-up menu. Unassign students from staff members they are no longer working with. Reset passwords and archive accounts. Administrators have access to every student's goals and objectives in the event a staff member is not able to input data. When a staff member is expanded, we can click on a student to open their goals. Here we can see their goals and click on an objective to access the data.
Our last type of user is the parent users who have view-only access. When a parent logs into their account, they can see all of their children's progress throughout the year displayed in their own dashboard. For this project, we decided to use C# and ASP.NET Core, a Microsoft framework that supports multiple operating systems alongside with JavaScript for animations and Bootstrap for styling. This has been an amazing journey. We got to learn the .NET framework, and we're very grateful for the opportunity to work in a project that could potentially help standardize a very complicated process and benefit hundreds of families. As a team, we came together to find a great workflow solution during this pandemic, and we're able to accomplish a lot more than a minimum viable product. Thank you everyone for your attention. Please, if you have any questions or feedback, we would love to hear them.
Wow. First of all, I want to say thank you very much to the Golan Girls team. And I guess congratulations and great job is a great understatement there. I've seen several comments here from the chat and from YouTube as well, commending you on both your work and your presentation there. So thanks for starting us off. One comment or question I guess I'd like to raise, what is being used before your software was made? What was being used to keep track of this data or all this information?
So there's this thing called IEPs, they're individualized education plans. And as we understand it, it's just like, it's different for pretty much everybody that uses them because everybody's taught a different way how to use them. I think it's mainly paper, or some of them might have websites that are just specific for that group. But this is mainly just a project to make a centralized way of gathering the data and displaying it so that it's just easier to understand for everybody and make more progress.
Awesome, very cool. I know Ken, were you able to find any questions from the chat? I saw a lot of wow and congratulations. Were there any questions that you noticed over on YouTube?
No questions so far, but yeah, definitely kudos. Some wows, nice presentation, great presentation, smooth, concise, informative. Definitely great work, and I agree with those comments out there. So yeah, for those out on YouTube, I'll let's see. Someone asked, a former student actually, an alumni of the program, asked, is .NET taught in the program now? Yeah, kind of. I will say that for a lot of these projects, the teams go out on their own and they learn much more than what we cover. So I think in my class we did cover a little bit of .NET to get folks going with the basics, but this particular team went well beyond, and some of the problems that they came back to me with, I could definitely tell they were definitely in the in the thick of the technology.
Yeah, absolutely. If we have any less technical folks that are following along on YouTube, it's a bit like deciding to write a book, but then deciding to write a book in a language that is not your the language you normally speak in. So yeah, definitely shout out to the teams who are taking on new challenges and figuring out how to do those throughout the last couple quarters. All right. Well, thank you so much, Golan Girls. I think we're going to move to our next team. Next up, we have the Boolean Hooligans team. So we'll hand it off to you, and you can begin your presentation here shortly.
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Hi, everyone. We are the Boolean Hooligans. My name is Vera Mankong Bandagekol, and with me I have...
I'm Cephas Kane.
And I'm Jason Engelbrecht.
So we started work on a web app to view foreign language students' performance based on lab attendance. And while waiting for access to confidential data, we had the opportunity to work on a second project working with the Goldmine team to create an API and mobile app for parents to check on their special needs students' progress throughout school. So first, we'll talk about the Language Lab app that provides a dashboard for student success. For the Green River College Foreign Language Department, who needed visible success rates from Language Lab usage, the Language Lab app is a tool that quickly displays student success in relation to Language Lab attendance. Unlike manually viewing all the different pieces of data to try to extrapolate information, our project calculates and displays data instantly.
I'll start with briefly talking about some of the technologies we used. The app has two parts. For the back end, we used Node.js with Express and MongoDB to create an API to connect to the Mongo database containing the student data from both Language Lab attendance and language student proficiency data. On the front end is a React.js web application that uses those API calls to add data to the database, delete it if necessary, and pull from the database, connecting the two separate pieces of data by the encrypted student IDs. We also have a brief demo of the application. We have two different types of files to work with. There's both the proficiency data that we get from the OIE, Office of Institutional Effectiveness, and the language lab hours that we get from the professors at the school. If you have the wrong file type uploaded or you choose the wrong option, we can show that, like in this example, there's 0 students. So you can delete that file and upload the correct thing. So here we'll choose the quarter and year we want and first start with the proficiency data that we're missing. I've pre-uploaded some files. And then now we have the lab hours and choose the right options for that this time. And then this also includes the language, of course, and then a level of support so they can keep track of how much staffing was involved. And then we'll confirm that after this uploads that we actually got the data incorrectly this time. And you can see there it shows 72 students. The file was correctly uploaded. Once we have the data we need, we can view the reports and it automatically loads the most recent quarter and year. It's all dummy data, so the differences aren't dramatic here, but you can see that it changes based off of the all lab data or different languages chosen. And we have a couple extra pieces of information as well, like how many students in the lab, total students measured all together. Next, we'll move on to our other app.
Our second project was the Goldmine mobile app, where we worked closely with the Goldmine web development team. This app provides parents a way to easily track their special needs students' progress in school. This project allows parents to log in on their phone for a quick reference and update on their students' progress through goals and objectives. Our app allows for students' information to be loaded almost instantly on the go, allowing busy parents to quickly check up on their children. This app will be accessible to almost anyone when it becomes available, as it's cross-platform, supporting both iOS and Android devices.
So while starting development on the mobile app, we quickly realized that we had two tasks ahead of us. First, we needed to build a RESTful API to pull data from the existing Goldmine MS SQL database. To do this, we used our knowledge gained from the Language Lab project to build and deploy an API in Azure using Node.js and Express. Secondly, we obviously needed to build a mobile app. To do this, we decided to use Dart and Flutter to rapidly develop a cross-platform app. The learning spike was large, but we overcame it and began to love Flutter. Building a wonderful UI was as easy as it gets, and utilizing the data pulled from the API was our main challenge. All in all, it was a fantastic learning experience, and we had a lot of fun throughout the process. Next, we have a quick demo of the finished product. So here, We have our parent attempting to log into the app. And oops, it looks like they forgot their password. So let's go ahead and give it another shot. There we go. Now we're on the home page. Here we can see all of the goals and objectives associated with our students, or should I say children. After a quick overview, we're going to go ahead and take a look at how this student is doing on one of their objectives. It looks like they may need to see what's going on there. Next, we're going to go ahead and check out another objective. Even with all the fluctuations, it seems like they're still on the right track, and that's great. Let's also take a look at any notes that they may have been left for us. Looks good. Lastly, I'm thinking it'd be great to see what dark mode looks like. Wow, that looks great, but I think we'll stick with the normal view for now. That's all, and I hope you enjoyed this demo. Let's go ahead and wrap things up. Thanks for listening while we showed off what we've been working on for the last 6 months. If there's any questions you may have, feel free to ask them now. Thanks again.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Boolean Hooligans team. I'll start you off with a question here. So some might be wondering, what was it like to balance 2 projects? And you also mentioned a learning spike. What was it like to transition from one project to another? And what was it like to enter a large learning spike in beginning your second project?
Well, the learning spike, well, the transition itself came right as all the COVID stuff started too. So it was especially interesting being at home and learning new technologies together, but not together at all, remotely using different voice chats and stuff. But the learning spikes themselves were fun because it was new technologies, at least for me. I think all 3 of us, though, had a really good time just seeing things we had never encountered before.
Yeah, we definitely had a lot of fun. And we use a lot of the stuff we learned from React, a lot of the concepts there to kind of use with Flutter as well. So they use a similar widget component system there.
So juggling 2 projects. With the language lab project, there was a lot of times where we're waiting for data. And even in the end, we still were waiting for data. But so we could fill that time with the new project, and it actually worked out well that we had a second one to work on. So.
Awesome, thank you. Ken, any questions from YouTube or from other chats?
Yeah, obviously, great kudos from YouTube on the UI, on both of them, the web UI and the mobile UI. Lori, a friend of the program out there, is actually mentioning that there's a teacher in the Kent School District who's a special ed teacher, and she may be interested in providing feedback. So maybe an opportunity to follow up. This is probably for both parts of the project. Let's see, question here. It looks like the project requires real-time interactions. Would that be the reason you chose Node.js to take advantage of that non-blocking I/O? So that's a more technical question.
I think the main reason we started with it is because Vera and I at least were a little familiar with Node.js from a previous project we'd worked on. And so we had some examples and experience using it to create an API. So that's kind of probably the main reason we started with that, is kind of the groundwork for our backend.
Great. And then I see one, a thank you from your project client out there on YouTube as well, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron.
Well, once again, great work, and as always, we kind of like to tease our teams as well when they get so much done. Being able to complete 2 projects over the course of this course sequence is pretty amazing. So, congratulations for accomplishing that. And again, great work on your project. We're always excited to see when those items come together, especially in such a short time frame. So our next team coming up to present will be the reactors. So the reactors, you are on.
Hello, guys.
Hey, everybody. We are Reactors, and our project was in Verso Revolve. I hope everybody's having a great day, just as we are, because we're finishing up our bachelor's. My name is David, and with me, I have Cody and Euthine. You might ask yourself, what is Verso Revolve? VersoTech Revolve is a transaction management platform. Repeatedly reconciling 3 big questions creates a massive time-consuming burden on hospital staff and delays payment to vendors. These 3 big questions are: was this item used in surgery? Is it approved for use in surgery? And is this item priced correctly? VersoTech aims to put together a comprehensive set of tools to reduce paperwork, standardize processes, and drastically reduce the time it takes to process purchase orders.
So a large obstacle we had during this project was obviously COVID-19, and with in-class meetings getting canceled, as well as this startup being focused in the hospital industry, it got hit particularly hard. And this led to not only having to find the best tools for communication within our team, but with our client as well. And there was a lot of experimentation before we landed on Slack and got comfortable video conferencing with Zoom. And another obstacle we had was taking on a project that would require to learn so many new technologies that David will talk about.
Some of these tools, libraries, and languages, the first 2 that we had to learn, we took a course on were React and Redux, and how we implemented that with our front end. We also learned a lot of .NET because the backend for VersoTech, that's what they used. They also wanted us to implement Auth0 for the for logging in and registration. So everything goes through Auth0 and it's secure. And also for our product backlog and for communication, we use Jira and Confluence, which actually worked a lot better for us. And we also had a lot of experience with REST because we had to use a lot of APIs.
So a feature that we're really proud of that we wanted to highlight is our dynamic sidebar. And for the demo coming up, we will be logging in as a procurement manager. So this would be difficult to demo with the time constraint. But this picture shows examples of 3 of the possible roles. And as you can see, the sidebar the user sees when logged into the app will change based on their role and the routes they have access to. And Yafim will now walk everyone through the demo.
So we have a quick demo for you guys. Because of the time, we won't be able to show you everything we did, but start off the landing page. I'll be going through a basic login. The login you see right here is done with Auth0. This profile that I'm logging in doesn't have a profile created. So user will have to create himself a profile. Just give himself a first name, last name, and he picks himself a role. So for this example, we picked the procurement manager. We'll show you guys a few pages. We'll start off with the cases page. These are all the invoices or cases the procurement manager can see. They can export the items if they want. You can see some items are accepted. I mean, all items are accepted. There are other roles that are responsible for accepting and declining items, but it's not the job for this specific role. We also have a little bit more time. I'll show you hospitals page as well. Procurement manager, the role that this is responsible for adding hospitals, and they can add hospitals, they can edit hospitals and delete hospitals. So this was just a quick demo of what our app looks like and what it can do. Any questions?
All right, thank you, Reactors team. So one quick question I wanted to ask, can you tell us a little bit about your client? This app seems to do some things with hospitals and billing and items like that. Can you talk a little bit about who your client is?
Yeah, our client was someone named Wesley, and he is the CEO of VersoTech. And so everything went through him, and he was a remote client. So we never got to see him in person, but we communicated him with mostly through Zoom and text messages or emails, and then Slack a lot as well. So yeah.
So with Verso Tech, what else is that? What else is that company up to now? What is their company like, or what are their day-to-day operations?
Well, Versatech is a startup, so you know, they're right now working, you know, to communicate with hospitals to get funding to kind of develop into a bigger company, and they want this. You know, Wesley knows a lot of issues that hospitals have, and with funding and with things during surgery. So what he wanted to do is create a platform where it solves those major issues, and you know, so that it's easier for hospital staff and for tracking and for payments and things like that, because a lot of times payments get delayed and they have to take out loans to actually be able to pay. So this platform would solve everything. So it's a startup and it's in development. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, obviously this project still has a lot of work to do, and Wesley is working with the hospitals to try to figure out what they want, and this app is going to get showcased to sponsors sometime this month, and depending on the sponsorship they get, that's going to depend for the life of this project. So if they'll get the money, there'll be more things coming in the future.
Yes, very cool. From what I've seen in the chat so far, quite a few comments on the overall look and feel and the polish of your product. So great job there. Ken, did you have any other questions that you saw from the chat?
Sure, yeah. Maybe a quick technical one and a more general one. Technical question, is this using the semantic UI framework? And then the general one, how did you feel about learning this big stack of technologies and spinning up on that?
So about the semantic UI, so the front end side that you saw was done with React, but this was an app stack template. If you actually go and you look it up, this was one of the things that Wesley purchased for us, and it had a lot of front end side done. I'm not sure if it's using semantic. I'm pretty sure it's just regular Bootstrap. That's all it is. And about all the learning spikes, I mean, it was difficult. Like, we barely knew .NET, nothing about Auth0, nothing about React. So taking this project in the beginning seemed like it was going to be a lot of work. But, sitting right now, feeling really comfortable with .NET and React, I'm really glad that we took this project.
Yeah, I think we all had a great time learning so much, and I think that's something that we just have to get ready for in the industry regardless. So I think learning everything was a great experience and prepared us for the future as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Reactors team. And again, I've said it once and I'll say it again, great work. And it definitely seems like you came through with a very polished looking product. So great work with everything you did there. Our next team coming up here is going to be AR Breadcrumbs. So one thing that's worth pointing out, throughout this quarter, some teams did finish one project and then move on to another. The AR Breadcrumbs team is actually coming after completing other projects with other team members. And the product that they'll be talking about is only a few months old. So this is one of the newer products that we've seen in progress. So I'll hand it off to the AR Breadcrumbs team for their presentation here.
Hi, I'm Marcus Absher.
And I'm Ian Dowse, and this is the app we've built over the past 3 months, Breadcrumbs AR.
What is augmented reality? Augmented reality is the technology that places virtual objects in the real world, able to be seen and interacted with using our devices like phones or special glasses.
Perhaps one of the most well-known augmented reality apps would have to be Pokemon Go, which lets you find and catch 3D Pokemon in the world using AR.
Or there's Snapchat or IKEA. IKEA wowed us with their app that allows users to place IKEA furniture in their homes to see if it fits their decor or actually physically fits.
So that's what augmented reality is, but what's Breadcrumbs AR? Breadcrumbs is a location-based social media app that decorates the real world with your thoughts. You can do things like leave notes for friends, leave a trail to follow like a virtual scavenger hunt, create virtual tours, or even create a visual aid for your next presentation. Now, we'd like to take some time to highlight some of the key features of Breadcrumbs. So first, we'll show you how to actually create a persistent breadcrumb. So the first thing you want to do is actually type in the message that you want to display on your breadcrumb. And then you just need to tap the screen where you want the breadcrumb to appear. You can see where I tapped by where that blue dot appears. And in just a few seconds, you should see your message. And this is a virtual representation of a 3D object in the world. So you can do things like get up, walk around it, and it would do what you expect it to. So you actually see the back of the text.
If finding nearby breadcrumbs is what you want, we also have a map view that allows the user to see breadcrumbs from predefined radius. I want to talk about a shared experience. This example that we have right here, my wife made me a visual shopping list so that all I had to do was look down the aisle to find the products that I was supposed to buy. She kind of, I guess you could say, idiot-proofed my shopping experience. Breadcrumbs allows for dynamic multi-user experiences where each person in the app can nearly simultaneously witness the same content placed in the real world, and that content will persist for whatever time frame assigned.
So what's next for, so what did we learn through this process? For one, we used a veritable mountain of technologies to create this app, but I'll highlight just a few notable ones. This was our first experience using Unity and my first experience with Android development. We were also new to AR Core and AR Foundation, which are essentially the backbone of augmented reality on Android.
Well, we all know that we all got thrown a monkey wrench for this COVID. So what we learned is how to collaborate remotely. And to do this, we had to establish a daily routine. We chose to pair programs so that we kind of keep each other, give each other support and extra pair of eyes. And we made our schedules more flexible. And most importantly, we were respectful but honest discourse between us.
So what's next for Breadcrumbs AR? There's still several features that we would like to implement, such as iOS support. Currently, the app is only on Android, as well as friend groups to limit who can see whose breadcrumbs, among other privacy features. The ability to choose your breadcrumbs lifespan, breadcrumbs with other types of content like images or videos, not just text messages, and potentially countless others.
Okay, while new features will help, performance will be the key to our app's success. It is a young technology, augmented reality, so sometimes there is, when an object is resolving, there's a little bit of latency, and obviously we can't control the device hardware. But we figure what we can do is optimize what we can control, such as adding multi-threading and async loading for worker threads. And we're looking into what we need to learn to possibly create a startup, find investors, and to find industry professionals, possibly for mentorship.
So that is Breadcrumbs to AR. Any questions?
All right. This is such a intriguing project. We have quite a few comments that are coming up on YouTube and here locally in Zoom, just mentioning that this is really slick and they want to try it out. What would be your what are some of your short-term goals? Is this something that you could see perhaps letting people test in the future? Or are there other items that you see as a more pressing issue before you would actually release this product in the wild for testing?
Well,
Oh, go ahead,
it,
Ian.
Marcus.
I think that first we kind of maybe have to tackle the performance side of it, and but I think along the way, if people were interested, we'd be more than happy to let people try it out. We definitely want to do some UI upgrades first, maybe add some I think small tutorial messages along the way, because it is one of those things that you kind of have to sort of coach people through in the, like moving your phone, maybe having like a tutorial, like mid-page, like splash screen that sort of shows you how you have to capture all of the room data, all the, let the raycast hit and choose the planes that are around you, so that when you do place an anchor, it will resolve more quickly.
Yeah, there's definitely some stuff we can do to make the working of the app a bit more intuitive, as well as just explicitly guiding the user through the first time they're placing a breadcrumb and other things. But yeah, we would like in the short term to get this into people's hands so they can actually start using it and telling us what else we need to do to this app.
And then I'd really love to, the help would be awesome, because then we could actually see a more shared experience, so everybody could see all the different objects that are around them at the same time.
Very cool. I think we have another question here in Zoom. Susan, are you able to unmute and ask your question?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was really curious how long you thought it might take to develop it for the iOS, the Apple.
That is a great question. It shouldn't be too bad. In fact, our original goal for this quarter was to make the app cross-platform, and the reason we were unable to do that is actually because neither of us has access to an iOS device that is AR capable.
Oh, that's a funny question. Yeah, because I thought I had the right phone for it, and it was just one version too early.
Yeah, so the main reason, in fact, one of the major technologies that we built this on was AR Foundation, which is explicitly a tool that is used to bridge the gap between Android and iOS in terms of AR. It lets you interact with both in the same way rather than coding specifically for Android and specifically for iOS. So it's not so much a technical barrier as like a financial one.
Yeah, I've done small projects in Swift and Xcode. I'm familiar with that editor. So moving it from Unity to there and then doing little polishing things, as you probably will have to after it's released.
Of course.
Well, it's very impressive. Great job.
Well, thank you.
Ken, I know there's quite a few, the YouTube comment section is going crazy. Is there any questions that you can select from that list there?
So obviously great comments. Someone actually said, take my money before you actually showed the slide that said, take my money. But maybe a quick lightning round, because I want to, stay within time here, but maybe yes or no answers here. Does the app need the camera to work, or can it work blindly without the camera? And then
definitely needs the camera.
So it needs the camera. Okay. And then I'm not sure, how to interpret this question, but do you think this can work like Dark Souls messages in real life?
I have not played Dark Souls, so I cannot speak to that, unfortunately.
Okay, great. All right, well, thank you. Thank you all out on YouTube.
Maybe some important future research there. Some Dark Souls might need to make its way into your game systems here after graduation.
Indeed.
Well, AR Breadcrumbs team, thank you very much. And I've kind of gotten the final word with a lot of these projects, but my thought on yours is it's super impressive that this product was able to kind of come to be so quickly here at the end of the quarter. So again, congratulations on all your work, and job well done there. So next, we are going to be moving to Team Tactics. So Team Tactics, you are free to take it away.
All right, can you hear me?
Can't see you.
Clear. All right, so before we start, I wanted to show off my baby. Can you see my baby? She was born on Friday.
Was there a DNA test?
Yeah, I don't see any resemblance.
Yeah,
No,
it doesn't look
not
like
yet.
you.
It's coming back.
Thought you had a darker shade.
So yeah, we are Team Tactics, and I'm here with Nick and Zach, and I am Brandon. Let me just get this going.
All right. So anyway, the way our group started was it was a strong relationship between me, Nick Alexander, and Brandon Scar. But we had a hole in our heart for Zach Lundgren, so he joined us later. And we set out to create a turn-based tactics game like Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblem, and we called it Project F. Why we made the video game is because throughout our entire schooling, we've only built websites and we never really got to do any real projects using like Java. We'd have like homework assignments, but we wanted an actual project. And coding this game, we'd use C#, which is basically Java. You know, it works very similar to it. And we all played, well, the three of us played video games. You know, we all drink Mountain Dew and call ourselves Kyle. So we like to play video games and have no other relationships with any other people, right? Just video games. So we decided to make a video game, and this right here is our project roadmap that we kind of followed. We loosely had to change some things along the way, but this is the roadmap that we stuck to and ultimately accomplished. Like we accomplished everything for the most part that we wanted to get done within the 6 months.
Yep, so I'm going to show you the demo that we got.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Zoom really hates it when we share the demo. It lags a lot, but fortunately, you can all go in and try the demo yourself. I'm going to link it in both Zoom and in YouTube, so anyone can click on it and try it themselves.
Awesome, thank you, Zach.
Same one we're showing off.
So we started off with the start screen, like every other game has, and we were messing around with animations. So that's what the camera was doing. Just a cool animation to start off the game. And start button to switch into the scene to start the game. The game has sort of a dialogue that we just came up with real quick, with the enemies talking, and then each of your people talking, saying nonsense. But you can change it however you want, whenever you want. The people who weren't familiar with video games were asking what the controls were, so we added a little display with the controls up here. When you're placing your units, tells you how to move around the cursor and how to place them. So after you are done placing them, it says get ready to battle, and then you basically just get to play the game. You can move your character, do actions like attack or special abilities that use up your mana, or you can just make your character wait and go to the next character. So as you can see, the board has tiles that are like 1, 2, or 3 spaces high, and each unit has a specific jump height. So as they're moving around, if the unit's jump height is lower than the tile height of the tile next to them, they won't be able to jump up on top of that tile, which limits their movement and adds a little bit more strategy to the game. So here's the AI.
Yeah, and so the enemies will each take their turn according to the turn order, and they will try to attack you if they're in range. And they have a higher chance to hit if they attack from the sides or behind, so they'll prioritize that first. And they also have different AI depending on their class. So the ones that with swords will walk up to you and try to hit you, or the orange one that can heal will try to move and heal their allies if they are low on health. And so for this level, victory conditions to beat the game are to kill all the enemies. And once you do that, it'll move on to the next level. And so he's going to go ahead and show that off by killing off the enemies. And hopefully we'll be able to see once they're finished off there, you can move on to the next level. And I believe right now there are 4 levels into the game so far.
Yes. So hopefully I can finish this guy off right here. Oh, I missed. Here we go. And 100% chance to deal 40 damage. This guy has 2 hit points left, so he is gonna die. After you're done, it sets up this other little conversation. Everyone gets their experience, and it goes up to the next level.
Yep. And then you can place your units and repeat.
Yep. Then you just place your units again. And it starts over. And there's 4 different levels for you to play.
Yep. And so
Good luck
that's
on the last one.
Yeah. And so that's what we got to finish for our project this at least past 6 months. Any questions and suggestions?
A shout out to our not, I would say manager, but really our client, who is Josh Archer. He's a strapping young man. Maybe you guys have heard of him. He's taught us a couple things here and there. You know, some Java, you know, little stuff.
Yeah,
No, he's actually
lurking.
He was our professor, and he was a game developer too. So we were able to kind of look for guidance from him, and also having him be our client, so he could kind of give us a lot of insight into the gaming world on top of being the Java teacher. So, you know, it really helped us out a lot. So, you know.
Yeah, we would just sit in his office for like 2 hours just talking about video games.
Yeah.
Well, great work. Great work, Team Tactics. I wanted to ask one question that I noticed. In your roadmap, it looked like your first demo didn't come out until like week 5. What was it like to have so much groundwork to do in those first few weeks before you could actually demo or play your game? How are you able to make progress during that time?
A lot of it was learning Unity, just learning Unity, learning a whole bunch of new things, like so many scripts, and putting them all together and trying to think of, because a script is called 60 times per second. So trying to think of how all of this goes together, it's really confusing to try and think about that when you're trying to do something, you know, and 60 times a second, this thing is happening. It's a whole different way to think about things.
Yeah, thankfully, those 5 sprints were before the COVID situation, so it was a lot easier for us to meet up.
We also had knowledge like prior to the 5 weeks, so me and Brandon had at least dabbled a bit in game development. There was a like I said, our client or / teacher, professor, you know, Java instructor, gave us during break like a tutorial and a book that we could kind of follow and learn game development to a little bit. So we were able to use a lot of that knowledge when creating this one. So like we had help with that. So it wasn't like we had no idea what we're doing. Boom, 5 weeks. It was like we've dabbled in it. Now let's see what we can do with it. And the teachers, you know, the teachers teaching us stuff was obviously extremely beneficial.
Very cool. Ken, any questions or comments from the chat sessions?
Yeah, great comments there. I think you definitely have some fans out there, and it's nice that you were able to have a playable demo for the audience. Question, did you make the 3D assets yourself? Yeah, so I'll leave that one there.
We made these orange ones and red ones
The
ourselves.
ones that are really well done, obviously.
Yeah. We did make,
yeah.
So this necromancer guy, he was a free asset from Unity, and he came with all the animations and everything. But like this guy moving around, we did that. His attack animation, we did that. This girl, we made her. This is her idol. Phase. We did that. We did her walking. We did this guy's walking. So we did all the animations for these 2. That took a while, but that was fun. That was a fun one.
Yeah, I certainly recommend anybody who has that link, do check out this game on your own machine. There's a little bit of a lag here running it through Zoom, but it's pretty interesting to see the characters react to keystrokes and like the archers move while shooting arrows and do quite a few things there. It's pretty in-depth game experience. Great job, especially I know this is a pretty accelerated timeline to start and complete a game. So as I've said to all the teams, congratulations, well done. It's been very impressive to see your progress throughout the quarter. Okay, so thank you very much, Team Tactics. And I think we're going to move next to the team, which I would say has the best logo of all of the teams. I might be speaking a little out of turn there, but the Wu Zane Suk Sang team. You're up next.
Hello. May I have a screen share of our Slack? Thank you.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, we are the Wu Zane Suk Sang group. To start off, we are going to demo and present our first capstone project, which is the Ginjin Ranch project. Our client for this project is Terry Tanner. She is the owner and founder of the Living History Museum. The client wants to attract the visitor, volunteers, and donors to the site. We built this site using Squarespace since our client wants to have the ability to customize and edit the site as they like. Zane will talk more about our learning spec and challenges later on. And this will be our demo area. It's pretty much all the basic stuff we're doing, homepage, the about page, and yeah, she has the ability to customize as she like. Weird. What happened? Okay. All right. Yeah. It's this is our demo for the site, and this is what we built. And yeah, she has the ability to customize as she like, because she wants to change like the events for your future reference and stuff like that. And yeah, volunteer can apply for application if they want to volunteer as well in the history. That's a search function as well. And that should be all. I will pass it on to Zane right now.
All right, hello everyone. So yeah, I'm going to talk about some of the impediments we faced with this. It was mostly just a learning curve, learning to use the Squarespace UI to build a site, because it was a little out of our norm. It wasn't really hard coding anything. And we also just learned about adding SEO to the site, applying MailChimp, Google Analytics, the things we needed to. Communication with client and long distance was a challenge at times, but we got much more comfortable with that. We learned that it was definitely better to speak with more personal means. So over the phone was a lot better than email. In person when we could. For this whole page, we pair programmed and mob programmed, and that was really to our benefit. And then from here, so yeah, it's really learning new tools, getting content to the client, and communication with the client. And I'm going to pass it off now to Suk, who's going to talk about Root Weather, our second project.
So Root Weather is our second capstone project. So when we travel from one point to another, we mostly don't know what kind of weather we will be facing on the road. This project is about showing weather on route while traveling, and right now I'm going to show a demo. For demo, we just search destination from starting point to destination to search the weather. You can see there's cities. When we search, we get the weather from one place to another. And right now it's only showing placeholders, and we are in still progress. And we are planning to continue work on this project in summer. As we are learning new stuff, we are making more progress to it. Now we will be talking about the impediments and challenges we face.
So during the weather project, we choose React as our main tool, and we call several different APIs, include Weather API, Google Map API, and Directions API. We just started this project 2 months ago with no basic knowledge and experience on React. Professor can help us during the whole quarter. He provided every API keys which we need, and he gave us suggestions on Udemy course. We also did the extra research. To be honest, we worked really hard in the last 2 months, days and nights, pair programming as a team, doing daily Scrum, and ask some friends to do detailed usability tests. This is a challengeable project, but since I got the best teammates and respectful professor, I have every resource we need. This becomes a great experience for me, and it keeps us self-motivated and keeping forward. And that's it. Thank you, guys.
And yeah, if we could, any questions, comments, or feedback? And before that, I'd like to also thank my team for being there for us throughout this whole project. It's been quite a journey. So questions, the professors as well. Thank you very much. So any questions, comments?
I had a question. Do you think you could tie it into like the weather alerts, like tornado? You know how they have those emergency alerts when
Yeah,
you're traveling?
that would definitely be something that we would hope to apply. And that was, you know, one of the reasons why we think it would be such a valuable thing to build, because it seems simple, but it's not really there yet. Nobody has necessarily built it so far. But yes, that would be a long-term goal to be able to apply that.
Very cool. Ken, any questions or comments coming from YouTube or from other locations?
Yeah, I guess in some of the comments I'm seeing, you know, I think a lot of folks are churning about the possible applications of this, whether it's for personal travel, road trips, or trucking, or transportation. I do have one question here. It's a pretty good one here. Does the weather that's shown account for travel times? So for example, does the endpoint weather show what the weather's gonna be like when you arrive, or is it showing current conditions at all points?
So right now it's only showing for current weather. We are planning to do like if it goes offline. So show like if they arrive in 1 hour, they can see like how will be the weather in like 1 hour when they will reach there.
I'd like to add something. I mean, this is not hard to make it possible to for the weather predict, because it's really basic idea, and the problem is we need to make the JSON file from stable to dynamic, and that becomes a really really problem for us at this time. And yeah, I think that's it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, team, for all your work. And once again, another team who took on the task of completing 2 projects during the quarter, or during the past couple quarters. So we appreciate all your hard work, and look forward to seeing if you decide to continue to working on that project as well. It's always fun to see those features get added on as you go along. Great work. We have 2 more teams left. We want to thank everybody who's here, whether on YouTube or we have a good group here in on the Zoom. And although we don't have a formal time for all the folks to share, we want to thank those folks who have worked independently, that have moved on to other projects, some students in internships or jobs. We thank you for joining us, whether it's here in the Zoom or over on YouTube. We really appreciate you, and we hope you stick around after the presentations. We have a little bit of extra, a few awards, a few things we want to recognize before we wrap up. So we have 2 more teams left. Our next team is going to be KP Solutions. KP Solutions, you are up.
Hi, we are KAP Solutions. I'm Phil.
And I'm Keith.
And I'm Alec. And we'd like to introduce you to our clients. If I can get it to move. Oh my, there we go.
Hi, my name is Dace.
And my name's Ariel.
And we're from a nonprofit music school called Dace's Rockin' More Music Academy, where at our location in Maple Valley, we do a whole bunch of private lessons and group lessons. And outside of our location in Maple Valley, we go to a lot of schools and community centers and do a whole bunch of group classes there as well.
We have hundreds of students. We have a bunch of different teachers. We have a bunch of different locations. And right now we're using different applications to keep track of attendance and payment and all kinds of different things. And we need something that streamlines these processes and does it better than we do it as well.
So yeah, when we first met with Dace and Ariel, I think one of the main things that they wanted from us was just simplicity. They wanted an app that was based on what they'd been using, which was Excel spreadsheets. They wanted something with a similar layout to that. So that's kind of what we started with. On the left here, you can see what sort of a screenshot of what they were, an example of what they were using for attendance, or they're still using actually. And then on the right here is our admin page. So we kind of tried to emulate the basic layout, but then dress it up a little bit, and of course automate it for the web. Right now, Alec is going to take you on a little tour through the app.
Right, and as Phil said, this will be a quick and simple display of how simple and easy it is to use the site. On the admin side, all the information is tidily organized by day and teacher. Adding or deleting students is as simple as clicking on one of the student boxes, filling in the appropriate information, and hitting save. Now, that allows the teachers to start doing attendance. That is as simple as choosing present, absent, or excused if they called in advance, and submitting that back to the admin page. Back on the admin page, all that information is clearly displayed. They are able to make adjustments if something was put in inaccurately, and they can also add notes for specific students if any additional information is needed for them.
All right, and then so for challenges that we met, so it's right from the beginning, we had to pick whatever technology stack is going to be best for the client. The first challenge that we met was that we weren't as familiar with that technology. So what we did in response was that we kind of dedicated time, kind of had like a learning spike, as they call it, to kind of learn and then do like online tutorials until we got kind of more familiar and comfortable with it. The second challenge was, or another one of the great challenges was that our project's kind of in 2 parts. There's the front end where the client interacts with the forms, the websites, the buttons. And then there's also the back end where all the data is stored. We couldn't quite get both of those to communicate. And so we had to create an interface. You've heard it called earlier today, it's an API. We were able to finally develop that, and then we were able to get both sides to communicate with each other. And then our strategies for success, because we knew, the way we're going to have to build this was going to be piece by piece. And so, but we also always wanted to make sure that we kept in our mind the end game. So we started deploying like kind of very early on in the project. And then, as we kind of grew, kept learning the stuff that we were doing, also kept making sure we made those updates, changes, and all that stuff to the remote server to make sure that everything was going to work also at the very end. Also, we also kept all of our problems kind of in front of us. We didn't really kind of sideline anything. We always made sure that we dealt with whatever was coming at us, and then make sure we learned from any of our mistakes. And it equaled out that we ended up succeeding, creating an app that our clients could use right now.
Right, and on top of all of the other successes that we've had, the greatest success was taking what looked like a very complicated project and simplifying it to what was most important to our clients.
Yeah, we'd like to thank you guys for listening. I wanted to also let you know that Dace and Ariel, our clients, are on Zoom with us, and so they're available to take any questions you might have if you have something that's sort of client-oriented. And so right now, we'd just like to open it up for questions.
I see the Tina put. So yeah, we deployed. Thing is like some of those last features that we just got done on the last sprint. So a lot of that stuff we've had them kind of testing for user testability, but yeah, they haven't been using it just yet. There's still some features we were working on.
Yeah, very cool. I was gonna ask kind of one technical question there. What, if any, new technologies did you have to pick up in order to complete this project? Were you able to mostly use tools that you were familiar with, or were you taking on any new languages or frameworks in order to accomplish what you're working on?
Yeah, the back end was, we were using Python, which we all knew a little bit about Python from our earliest programming classes that we took, but we had a beginner's amount of knowledge to start with, so we didn't know it really well enough. And then we were using the Django framework, which is that's something we'd never used before. So the back end was pretty much totally unfamiliar. The front end was JavaScript. And so that was something, actually Alex and I had done a smaller version of this product last year, and so we had some idea of how we were going to approach that. But getting the two to work together was the big challenge, and then getting to know Python on a higher level was also a challenge.
And then the framework that a lot of us had to do most of the learning on was the Django framework, and that was dealing with Python.
Fortunately, there's a lot of good tutorials out there that we were able to find.
Yeah.
I think the hard part comes is figuring out how to make those tutorials actually work when the errors are flying your way. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Ken, any questions from YouTube or any of the chats that you'd like to bring up?
Yeah, I think general feedback very positive here. Definitely exciting. I think I wanted to mention that anytime you're building a scheduling application, it can get very, very tricky. And I commend this team on being able to not only navigate the technology, but understand how scheduling works. And I'm sure you worked a lot with your clients to figure that out and how they work and get in their heads and see how it works.
Yeah, it was much more complicated than we thought. I mean, I still laugh when I think back to one of our first meetings. We were already talking about what our second project was going to be. And we figured, oh, we're going to knock this out in 2 months. But here we are, just getting it done now. But yeah, once you get into it, you start to realize how to do the very simple things. There's a lot to it. So
yeah. Well, absolutely. I might sound a little bit like a broken record at this point, but as with all the teams, we're quite proud of all the work that you've done, and we hope that, we thank you for all that you've done for your client, and we want to congratulate you as you finish up these last 2 quarters of hard work. It really shows through in the product that you're able to come up with there. So we are down to our last team here. So we want to thank everybody who stuck around. I know over on the YouTube stream, we've stated around 60 people who have been here, most of you since the beginning. So thank you to those of you who stuck around. We do have a little bit right after this final presentation as well. But our last team we're going to welcome is going to be Additive. So Additive, you guys are up, and you will be the conclusion of the presentation portion here.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hey, we are Team Additive. We're here to proudly present the product that we've been developing on behalf of the South King Tool Library. Our team has developed on an application to assist their nonprofit organization in staying productive and organized. The path to reach this point was challenging and full of growth. Today, we're celebrating. Our client is already utilizing the system with over 900 community members. To begin our journey, we dedicated time towards getting to know our client. We learned how the organization works and what their business needs are. We discovered the South King Tool Library is more than just a tool lending library. Their mission is to build a stronger community through training, sharing resources, and empowerment. Our client's initial ask was a means to improve their inventory management system for lending tools. So we went to work, going as far as reaching out to the president of their current inventory management system and gaining special access to their data. In the end, we quickly discovered that integrating with their system would be limited in scope and just not a possibility. If we'd not been agile, that might have been the end of it.
Fortunately, during that time, my daughter and I had the opportunity to volunteer at one of their community workshops, getting firsthand experience on how they run their events. I noticed that their sign-in sheet was still on paper. This sparked a conversation about how all their event information was getting stored. I found out that after the event, our client had to manually log everything in Excel spreadsheet, their volunteer hours, donations, and on top of that, they had to update their newsletter through another app in addition to several other tools.
Our system streamlines all of this key functionality into one easy to use and fully exportable system. This gives our client and the community they support powerful tools that will help them flourish as a new nonprofit organization. For this project, we decided to learn a new technology stack. Using the technologies that we did meant that we were pretty much on our own. We didn't have an expert or an instructor that we could go to when we had questions or problems. We spent a lot of time learning on the fly and a lot of time banging our heads against the wall. But we made it through together, and now all of us have a much better understanding of how to teach ourselves new technologies.
So to explain how our application works in a broad view, contacts and volunteers and events are added into this system. And then contacts and volunteers then attend events and workshops. After events are completed, data can then be reviewed. Forms can also be customizable and also be modified to fit changing business needs. Our client hosts many differing events and workshops. To help facilitate this business need, we replaced the paper sign-in sheets and built a kiosk mode that allows for attendees and volunteers to quickly check in and register at events. In addition, nonprofits rely on funding from grants and donations. To help them track trends and gain valuable insights about the community they serve, we visualize data that can be reviewed in a variety of ways, specifically allowing for metrics, timesheets, and event details to be accessed quickly. To address changing business needs, such as evolving skills, interests, and languages that are needed from volunteers, we built an admin portal that not only serves to onboard new system users, but also the ability to modify form questions for these key categories.
Here's a recap of what we accomplished during our development process. As you can see here, there's a lot more listed than what we were able to share today. Now, each month here highlights key features that were implemented. Not only did we deploy new features, we also triumphed as a team, stepping out of our comfort zone with the support of each other. Now, to close out, we would like to invite those who are interested in donating, volunteering, attending events, or learning more about the South King Tool Library to register at the URL at the bottom of this slide. We'd like to thank everyone for joining us today, and we look forward to answering any questions that you may have. And go.
All right, thank you, Additive team. I've seen a lot of chat going on here in Zoom. I'm sure there's other questions coming in as well. Are there any questions for anybody here in Zoom currently? You're welcome to unmute and ask those if you have those. All right. Hearing silence, I'll send it over to Ken. Ken, any questions from YouTube or from elsewhere?
No, good comments here on YouTube on your work for sure. No questions yet, but maybe I'll put one out there.
Our client Amanda actually just popped into the YouTube channel, and she says that she's amazed at how much we've been able to accomplish. Thank you, Amanda. We appreciate you.
That's great. Yeah, I think definitely while Amanda's here, let's do a quick plug for our local nonprofits and businesses. South King Tool Library, I think they just recently opened up as well. So if you're needing to borrow a tool, search for South King Tool Library.
I'm looking for a circular saw here in the next 2 weeks, so I'll be giving them a call. One question that I wanted to raise, you talked a little bit early on that your initial project and one of your goals was to potentially work with their inventory system, but you ended up working with the volunteer system. Can you talk a little bit about that changeover? I know it came from some firsthand experience, but what was that like on the technical side with your scope changing and pivoting so quickly?
Yeah. So, I mean, the big thing with us was we wanted to get access to their inventory management system, which is a company called MyTurn. It was really great to be able to actually talk to the head and the lead who developed the product. But what we found out is that at their current iteration, the only thing that was allowed to be accessed externally from data was a limited amount of data, things that were just currently active, not their full inventory ranges. And we needed to be able to develop a tool that would tell her like what was lost. And unfortunately, those were all inactive products. And it made it very challenging. And that's where we knew that we had to pivot quickly. And that's why we're grateful that we're able to fall back on like agile methodologies and quickly turn on a dime into the new project.
For sure. Amanda says she has plenty of sauce if you need them.
That's great to hear. It's always great to have a client here as well. All right, Ken, anything else before we move on to our next section here?
Let's see, I see one question in the YouTube here, if, real quick, maybe lightning round question. What would you think the biggest challenge was while building this project for this one?
Oh, geez. I was going to say the same thing, Alicia. The tech stack was definitely the largest thing that we had to deal with, but we handled it though. Our site's deployed, our client can use it already. So I'm completely happy about how we handled learning everything, because you guys saw that slide. It was crazy.
Yeah, I think we kind of learned that documentation didn't always sum up what we were trying to do. So it was finding ways to piecemeal together the information to make it work for us.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. A lot of the information out there, even Josh has kind of iterated this to us and some of our other classes working with this particular tech stack, now that we get a chance to learn it, was that the documentation's outdated and things have changed with it. So when you go looking and trying to understand it, mixed together. So that was a challenge, and trying to just sift through that and then work together. And do you understand this? I mean, it took a lot of leaning on each other for sure. Like, kudos to my team. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Amanda, too, for allowing us to, I don't know, learn and grow throughout this whole process.
On that same note, I was going to ask, if you don't mind, would you be willing to share the new sign up link both here in Zoom as well as on YouTube? If you're able to do that, we'd appreciate that, so that those that are viewing can also interact with that as well. Yeah, thank you so much, Additive team. And again, I know Ken mentioned this already, but we appreciate you helping out a local nonprofit here, and one that I definitely look forward to potentially interacting with myself. It's very awesome to see.
Oh, and I forgot to plug earlier, Dace's Rock and More Music Academy. Thank you, Ariel and Dace, for being here as well. I got to plug local businesses here.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ken, at this point, I have one slide that I was going to mention, just a few other people that we are thanking in the same line of thinking there. Just give me one moment and I'll jump back to my slides there. First off, we want to thank everybody for sticking around. We really appreciate you being a part of these presentations. It really helps to have the audience here and the folks that are willing to pitch those questions. We also want to make sure that we do thank each one of our clients, taking the time to work with the students that are graduating from this program, willing to share a part of what they're doing at their organization or at their business. They really make this possible. This experience is really valuable for the students, and we hope that it's also very valuable for all of you as well. As you've had new software, new websites, and new products coming hopefully online for your organization here soon. We also want to recognize several people who are here with us today as well. Other members of the software development department, Tina Ostrander, Josh Archer, Susan Uland, and Andy Orr. Most of these students have had class with all of you at some point during their academic career, and we want to recognize the very major piece that you've played in their journey through the BAS program. This is kind of our end of the year celebration here as our time for these students as they're finishing up. And we want to now, I'll hand it to Ken. He has a few individual students to recognize and kind of some closeout information here.
Sure, yeah. Continuing the thank yous, I have a couple of folks I want to recognize here today. So let's see. If you can advance to the next slide, that'd be great.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. All right, so first I'd like to recognize those who have served as peer facilitators and tutors throughout the program here. So in recognition of academic excellence and dedication and service to peers as a peer facilitator or tutor in the past 2 years, our program would like to honor following graduates: Brooks Esch, Jake Suversnick, Andrew Harrington, Jason Engelbrecht, and Marcus Absher for outstanding service awards. In person, we would normally have a little photo op and present a certificate, but it's going to come through the mail in the world we live in today. So thank you very much for your service as peer facilitators. All right, next up, I'd like to recognize some of our technical interns who kind of helped us behind the scenes. Inside our department, we have internal tools that help us do our job. Similar to how some of these projects helped their clients automate some of their work. We have a similar effort inside our department as well. So over the past 2 years, we've had a great team helping us, and I'd like to recognize David Kovalevich, Yefim Vanilovich, Jordan Smith, and Ryan Guelzo with outstanding service awards as well. I wish we could find a way to do some major applauses here. I think there's an applause button in Zoom. I'm not sure how it works in YouTube, but I do recognize all of you, and yeah, stay tuned. You'll get a certificate in the mail as well. And hopefully we'll have a chance to actually be together in person again to congratulate each other.
Here on the Zoom chat, we're seeing the comments go from 5 to 25 to 35 to 55 comments very quickly. So there's congratulations is coming through the comment section over here.
Yeah. So yes, thank you for peer facilitators and interns. Next up, we have awards that are where the selection is done by the cohort's peers. So this class of 2020 consists of 2 student cohorts, cohort 8 and cohort 9. And each student was able to nominate 2 of their peers to receive an award, whether it be for service, for leadership, for academic achievement. So it's kind of a self-selected award by the students. So if we go to the next slide, this year we actually had a tie. So in recognition of building a sense of camaraderie, community, and craft in our 8th and 9th cohorts from 2018 to 2020, the BAS Software Development Program students honor Carmen Gallardo, Celine Liano, Max Lee, and Kat Truitt as our outstanding cohort students. So congratulations to all of you. I will say that I received quite a few nominations, and y'all recognize each other so much. And I think everybody had so many positive things to say about everyone else in the cohort. And I wish I could, run through the entire list, but I hope you do have a chance to share with each other as well. And I'll try to make sure I express my appreciation to all of y'all personally as well. So congratulations again to our cohort student award recipients. All right, so with that, I wanted to kind of wind down our event here a little bit, but I always like to do things by the numbers. For those of you who have taken a class with me, I always like to look at our impacts and kind of state it in a more quantitative way, just so we can see scale. But we have 46 students graduating this year with a Bachelor of Applied Science in Software Development. As you've seen a good number of them here today. Some completed their capstone in industry, some completed independent projects as well. And many of the students here have completed all 4 years of their college experience here with us. to be awarded a Bachelor of Applied Science degree, it's 180 total credit hours to earn the degree. Some of the students have joined us from other community colleges. So in those cases, they started at another community college, earned 90 of their credits, and then came to Green River College to finish the remaining 90 to earn their bachelor's degree. So in this graduating class, we actually have students who started at Bates Technical College, Tacoma Community College, Highline College, Pierce College, and Seattle Central College as well. So we thank our partners, our program partners, to bring us all together here. Overall, we've spent about 600 hours together in our core classes over the past 2 years. I mean, it's stunning to kind of think about that. And our students who really do the heavy lifting here have completed well over 1,000 additional hours beyond that of work outside the class over the past 2 years to get to where they are. These capstone projects clearly don't come together overnight, and it took a lot of learning and a lot of trial and error and a lot of study and a lot of practice to get to where they are. So I wanted to recognize that as well. So I can speak for the team that we're really humbled in the investment that you've made in yourselves and your learning on your journey here, and the trust you've given us. We feel honored that we've been part of this journey with you. So, all right. And I think for the next slide, I wanted to queue up a little bit some farewell notes for you. So I think I have a parting message from the faculty and staff here at Green River College Software Development Program, and I'm going to share my screen here.
Okay, I'll pull down my share so you can get yours going. Are you ready?
Yep. And here we go. Whoops, uh-oh, hold on. Technical glitch. You figure with a quarter of doing this, I should be a little bit better at it.
It's okay. We'll give you a pass this time.
I just lost everything.
All right, as Ken's getting set up here, I just wanted to take another opportunity again to just mention, we really appreciate each one of the students represented here in our Zoom meeting. There's about 37 of us, including some students and some staff and some other folks here. I want to thank you for being here. Whether you presented today or not, we just want to recognize the great accomplishment that you've all been through here, completing the BAS program, all the work that you've done, not only in these projects, but in your previous courses as well. We believe heavily in this project-based learning and the impact that it can have. And we want to thank you for all the work that you've done that's enabled you to reach out to those in the community that are outside of the Green River community. So with that, Ken, I think we are ready to roll.
All right, yep, here we go.
I wonder what this one's about.
Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away.
You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can write code in any IDE you choose.
You're on your own and you know what you know, and you are the one who'll decide where to go.
Things can happen and frequently do
to people as brainy and techy as you.
Then things start to happen. Don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along. You'll start happening too.
You'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights, whether you're coding in Java or building websites.
You won't lag behind. You'll have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang and soon take the lead.
Wherever you fly, you'll be the best of the best. Wherever you go, you'll top all the rest. I'm sorry to say so, but sadly it's true.
That bang-ups and hang-ups will also happen to you.
Somehow you'll move forward after waiting and staying. You'll find the bright places and a career that's well-paying.
Oh, the places you'll go, there is fun to be done. So much new code to write, to compile and to run. And the magical things you can do with your skills.
You can program great apps with all of the frills.
When you write code, there's a very good chance you'll meet bugs that scare you right out of your pants.
There are some in the code between hither and yon that can scare you so much you won't want to go on.
You'll take on big projects and learn new tech stacks, though your code won't compile and your patience may lack.
But on you will go, though the tasks will be tricky. On you will go, though the backlog is icky.
And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed.
It's 98.75% guaranteed.
To Nick, to Jared, Amanda, and Marcus, to Phil and Brandon, and also to Kafist, to Bo, to Bruce, Adolfo, and Alicia, to Ryan, to Robert, Ian, and Jatima, to Andrew, to Zane, to Sukvir, and Samantha G, to Brooks, to Michael, to Keith, and Samantha D, to Alvin, to Kat, to Jordan and Carmen, to Alec, to Max, to Jake, and to David N, to David K, Celine, Vera, and Sang, to Jason, Yafim, and also to Trang, to Zach, to Tony, to Mike, and to Woo, to Cody and Evan, and all of you.
You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your next project is waiting, so get on your way.
All right. Well, thank you for letting us share with you all today. Before we leave, I want to maybe open up the floor really quickly for our program faculty if they have any words they want to share. I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but I think it's tradition.
Yeah, one thing I'll mention just logistically, that video will be uploaded shortly. So we will have that on the same channel where the live stream is held. So if you'd like to see that video, we'll try to have that up in the next 24 hours and we'll share out that link.
So I'll go ahead and add. Can you hear me, everybody? So good job and well done, everybody. We're all very proud of you. You got here through hard work, so pat yourself on the back.
I'll go next. We just to echo Josh, we are so ridiculously proud of you. It is such a joy to see the journeys that you've been on and the obstacles you've overcome. The last 2 years, we've seen amazing growth in you and persistence and perseverance. Your hard work has paid off. You're incredible. Your projects are incredible. And we just can't wait to see where you go from here. Great job. And we love you all.
I've said plenty tonight, but I just wanted to say one more time, despite the circumstances, a quarter that's very difficult, many outside challenges, just congratulations for all that you've been able to accomplish. I've only gotten to spend the last year with you, but it's been a privilege, and I wish you all the best as you go on.
Did we catch everyone? All right. Apologies, my YouTube stream is catching up right behind me. Yeah.
No, it's totally fine. I know Andy was in on the YouTube channel. I'm not sure if he was able to dip in here as well.
Yeah. And then, of course, Susan's here too. Okay, well, again, thank you everybody for being here. So grateful, so happy. It's time to celebrate. So thank you all for presenting tonight, and thank you all for joining us on the YouTube stream out there, and take care. And as I like to say, it's not really goodbye, it's really until next time. So see you then.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll touch base with many of you seniors. I know we have another activity coming up on Thursday, so hopefully we get the opportunity to check in with some of you then. We'll follow up in Slack, and we wish you all the best. I think that's going to conclude the recorded portion here. I might stick around here for a couple minutes after, but thank you all for being here, and great job in the presentations, and great job all quarter and all the time ahead of that as well.
Congratulations, everyone.
Ken, do you want to stop the YouTube stream?
Yeah, let me see.
In case it gets real PG in here.